pool, and whoever wins first place usually gets the prize money. Second place gets their money back. Usually is kind of how it works, and like it's usually between $50 or like 25 and $50 probably. Our goal with this Dynasty League is to get progressively more serious, because at some point, if your franchise is good and you want out, like because the teams are set, you'll be able to sell your team effectively.
Have someone else overtake. You can change management, basically.
Right.
Okay.
So it's much more interesting. You can trade draft picks this year too, but you can't trade them for futures. So next year when we're doing the rookie draft, you can trade your future draft picks for a chance to win now. So there's a whole lot more strategy and management. Like a true GM.
Okay.
And so I could trade next year, I could trade, my first round pick, because let's say I'm going number 1. I trade my first round pick for a second and a third, or 2 seconds for the year and then the year after. And
now is this online?
Yeah. Well, we'll draft in person.
Okay.
The draft will be done in person, but the management can be done online.
Okay, so this is not something that you're going to like NFL.com or ESPN.com
there is a separate
and doing
site.
Something like this.
It's called like myfantasyleague.com, and it's tailored to more serious things like this. There is an actual fee associated with using their website because they're not as big of a player base.
Which is, how much is the fee?
$60. But that's for everyone putting in. Remember, everyone's already giving money.
Right.
So everyone gives the money. You just pull some of that out of the prize money. And
is it
put it into the
$60 for
everyone? All in league totally.
So if you have a 12-person, do the math, blah blah blah.
$5.
Yeah.
Right. Which isn't that much different in the scope of $50 you're already paying to play the league.
Okay.
So now, because we can trade future picks, we have it locked up where you have to put in this year's money and next year's money, so that you can't dump your picks to try and win now and then just skate away with the money.
Okay.
So you have like a deposit, and we just keep it.
There's an off button right there. If you got a cough, you don't have to cough on air.
Well, I thought maybe people wanted to know, with all my greatness, how human I am, Dave. And coughing is the only way I know how to show that.
Okay, so how many teams do you have usually per season?
This year I'll have 4 for sure.
I can't do it. It's hard enough for me. I wouldn't say hard enough, but it's enough for me to just do the one. And I'll put all my eggs in that one basket. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, it does.
So, when is the ideal time to do it?
After the third preseason game.
And you already have your team.
I do. I did a little bit early. I got a little bit anxious. And
so, are you playing in a league with friends and stuff?
Or? I used to. Okay. Up until this year, I did at one of my old jobs. We did a work league together.
Okay.
But I'm not currently working at that job, so I just went on ESPN and picked a random league and drafted with them.
But here's the thing: is now there's probably like 2 of those people who don't end up playing at some point in the year.
Very true.
And you won't get the full competitive advantage of.
And
playing
that's the thing too.
Football.
When it gets later in the year, and let's say your team's only won like 2 games this year, whatever.
People start setting their lineup.
Yeah, people start setting the lineup. They want to trade all of their good players to good teams, and it just ruins the whole thing.
Right now, I'm doing this guy. I have 2 thumbs pointing at this guy right here because I did play fantasy football last year. I got sucked in to the stupid league. And my friend, he actually listens to the show, Jason Drosty, up in St. Louis, Missouri.
Shout out.
No, excuse me. He delivers mail in St. Louis, Missouri, but he lives in Alton, Illinois. So I had to play in this
old people knowledge.
Right. So the name of my team, I forget what the original name was, but it was so horrible that I named it Playing for Last Place. I mean, my goal was last place. I didn't come in last place. I came in like second or third to last place, but I really didn't care anymore.
So in the Dynasty League, we do have some things that help mitigate people's disinterest towards the end of the season. So what we do is you play the top 4 go to the playoffs, right? And they duke it out.
Okay.
Winner gets money, second place gets their money back, like we said before. But here's how the draft thing works. Usually it goes, worst to first. But what we do is you play out the top 4 play the playoffs. The bottom team also play a playoff bracket. And the winner of the losers bracket gets to draft the first pick. Not the other way. So that there is still a reason to play at the end of the season.
So the best loser gets the number 1 pick.
Best loser gets the number 1 pick. It prevents people from just going like, I hate this, I'm taking the number 1 pick. have all this stuff.
That's a good idea, too.
And there is some power in us to veto trades if they are going to ruin a season. You know, if
Okay.
someone's giving the guy Adrian Peterson and Tom Brady
for
and
a kicker.
and formerly Calvin Johnson, yeah, right, for a kicker, you know, like clearly it's not going to be fair to the league and it should be vetoed. And like I said, the Dynasty League, you can decide when you're going to try and aim for your championship.
Right.
You know, like you might not have a team that's going to win this year. But the team that wins this year might not be good for a few years. So if I draft kind of intelligently and I take some like younger, 3-4 year veteran players, and they're good for 3 or 4 more years,
Right.
I could have a dynasty, right? Which is the point.
See, and that's the part that that's my disconnect right there. So you get into, let's say, week 4 of the preseason. You know who's hurt, who's good, who's not, so on and so forth. You know who not to take, who to take. Somewhat.
Allegedly.
Yes, somewhat, you know? So you know that you're not going to pick the guy that's on the injured reserve list and that's not going to play anymore. Throughout, which Brad might have on his team right now because
I actually don't. Not right now.
Not
Cross my
yet.
fingers.
Not yet.
Don't talk about it, or it might happen.
So, but anyway, getting into that, that's my disconnect. It's like, I get my number 1, my number 2, my number 3 goes down. I'm like, I'm not going to win anyway, and I'm going to have to go get some scrub that might carry the ball 5-6 times.
But here's the thing in the Dynasty League, again, that changes this entirely, is it might be worth, we'd also pick more rounds, like you have a deeper bench because you have to develop players over time, you know, like you have to like see who pans out, who doesn't pan out, so there are more slots. But it might be worth it in the 8th round to take Julio Jones, who gets injured at the beginning of the season. He gets injured at the beginning of the season, you can get him at a value pick and leave him on your bench for the next 2 years. You just got a first-round player.
Well, it's kind of like last year with this is because I listened to something else the other day. It was Tevin Campbell at the Atlanta Falcons went
Right.
down, and Freeman.
I think it was the
Devontae
other way
Freeman.
around, I thought.
Devontae Freeman.
Tevin Coleman was supposed to be the starter. He got hurt in, I think, the preseason. Devontae Freeman came on,
And I heard he was a monster.
and just killed it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I mean, that happens.
and that's
but
lucky.
there are people who are pretty good at projecting. Like I said, it's not a science. Like anyone who thinks they have it down. But I will tell you, you remember Bobby Lewis?
Yeah.
He has won 3 out of the last 4 championships in our NT Daily League.
Really.
And I am the only
The
one
North
with
Texas
the other
Daily
one.
League.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's won 2 back-to-back, and then I won 1 before that, and then he won the one before that.
So your friend Tyler hasn't won at all?
Tyler has not won.
Okay.
Sean hasn't won. Ian hasn't won. I'm trying to think of who else is in the league. Tim hasn't won.
Cato?
Alex Macon won 1 year,
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
his first year in the league. And he had never played fantasy football, and he is the least sports guy out of all of us. It was incredible.
Alex Macon, who used to be with the
Dallas Observer.
oh well,
He
he's
is
with
now,
the, he's
I
with the
think.
Dallas, but he was with the Galveston Daily News or Galveston.
Yeah.
What?
So
I should know that newspaper because I'm from that area.
shout out to all those guys, and our draft is soon.
So
But yeah, no, I guess I get why you don't, but I think, I might be able to find some slots in a dynasty league if you guys are willing to put your money where your mouth is. So
I mean, how much are we talking?
he said $60.
$60?
I don't know.
actually, so remember I
He
said
said
there's the
$5.
down payment.
It's $60 for the whole league. So
Right. No, but okay. So remember I said there's the down payment. So it's
Oh.
legitimately 40 and then 40 for the next year.
Listen, this car salesman go.
Hey,
I
I'm
know.
just telling you.
I'm really gonna have to think about it though. That does sound very interesting.
Let me see. And I think our draft might be really soon. I don't know what your guys' weekend looks like.
I'm not. You know, I'm not interested.
You make me so sad.
I maybe we could talk off air. I may be interested.
All right, we'll talk about it. Let's see other things interesting. Fantasy football. I don't really have I'm not a diehard fan of any team, and it might actually be because
That's
of
where it's hard
fantasy
for me.
football. I can easily and that's actually why I think I do better than a lot of people because I know Cowboys fans who just take Cowboys, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
See, I don't do that. I don't do that. If there's a good player there, I'll take the good player over the Cowboy player. But if the Cowboy player's within one or two slots, I might think about taking him.
Yeah, and I have no loyalty there. Like I will take best available, like my best chance at winning a championship because I play for money.
I do
right?
that
Like-
about 99% of the time. About 99% of the time.
So when it's scrolling, because I've seen the ESPN,
Right.
the motherships,
Which is probably the
draft.
best one.
It is.
Just for like the basics, ESPN's probably the best in my opinion.
What about the NFL's?
I've done that one.
I've never done it.
I've done that one once, and it's I would say it's a little bit more. The draft is a little bit more difficult to maneuver, and
Okay.
like on ESPN, you can set your queue to where like you have like certain guys that you're targeting.
Right.
NFL, you can't really do that.
What about Yahoo?
I haven't done Yahoo.
I will. Okay, so I've done Yahoo recently,
Okay.
and I will say that Yahoo is probably the most fun out of any of them. Like Yahoo, after
so?
every week, they give you a little recap based on like scores and what happened, and they have like a little like a news update for the games. Like that, like there's actually like
ESPN used to do that, but they don't do that anymore.
right, and Yahoo does it, and they give you like they give out awards like Player of the Week and like Team of the Week, and there's like little trophies and stuff associated with it that you can accumulate throughout the season, and a bunch of achievements and stuff to unlock, like they have on Xbox or PlayStation and stuff.
Like
these days.
highest score and lowest
Yeah,
score.
yeah, exactly. Or biggest differential, and your
Worst
league,
team.
Worst team.
your league actually keeps a tracking
think-
historically.
I think I won the worst team a couple of times.
Your league
couple weeks.
actually keeps like biggest differential, most highest scoring point week. It keeps all that stuff in a log, so there is actually like a history, and so it's kind of cool as you play in the same league over time. It kind of keeps that Hall of Fame sort of thing going.
Well, folks, I think this is going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and put a bow on this thing. It's looking pretty darn good, right?
Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Now,
Always wrap it up.
always, if we're in Brazil, let's wrap it up now. Oh, yes, the horrible reference. Okay, hey, this is my goal, okay, and I haven't really talked about it, but I would like to do this twice a week, okay? I know our schedules are a little different, but we're in a new studio. We have Brad. We have a board where I'm not running the board anymore. We have Brad running the board. Ryan over here with his feet up, just chilling with the skinny jeans on.
These aren't skinny
And,
jeans. These are boot cut.
Those are boot cut. Okay, and I'm over here with my cargo pants on. So we're gonna try our
Purse for men.
exactly. We're gonna try to get in the studio twice a week.
Let's nail down doing this once a week. We were on a two month hiatus or so.
But guess what? We sounded great tonight.
I agree with you, and I'm
As-
sure the
as long
listener
as-
base does
As
too.
long as Brad hit record over there, we're doing okay.
Yeah, it's still going. To my knowledge, it's still going.
Okay.
All I'm saying is let's deliver content once a week and make sure people are listening to it.
So, all right. So,
Anything else? Any parting words, Brad? Thank you for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
enjoyed you.
hey,
here.
thanks for joining us. We looked see what else you could do, even though you didn't provide any stories for this week.
Oh well,
You really missed the budget
yeah,
meeting.
bum,
I
bum,
submitted
bum.
mine last minute per usual, and Dave coming in early, and well done. I was gonna say, drop the social media stuff. We haven't been active. We
Right.
need to get it up. We need to get our own logo done. I will work on that.
I did post on my social media for people to go and like the page.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
and I said to go listen to it on iTunes.
So we do need to get that stuff up and running.
And you can
better.
find us at Twitter. We are at the TX Strangers Sport because we can't put the extra S in there because
Texas Strangers with the S, Sport without the S.
yeah, it's a singular, not plural.
And you can follow me at Ryan Gano.
And I'm at the David Carson.
And
Brad,
I don't have a Twitter.
and Brad
so you
doesn't
can follow
believe
me.
in
gosh.
Twitterless Brad is
Twitterless
is his
Brad.
new name.
You can find me on Facebook though, just BRAD Watkins WATKINS.
Oh, I don't know if I would have done that.
I don't know. There might be some good looking women listening.
Special thanks again to Gavin Mitchell for forcing us to put more content out. So
And also, let's give a thanks to John B. Wells with Arc to Midnight here on not here on KLF, but he's on KLF
on
but
570
on 570
KLIF, 10 to 12.
10 to 12, and that is an adjunct of Caravan to Midnight. And the reason why we're going to give him a shout out is because he's paying for a lot of our stuff.
He is been a great help to us, and I mean he's a great radio professional. Even if you don't necessarily agree with the content of his show, or it's not like up your alley, it's kind of got a sci-fi twist or a conspiracy twist, or that sort of thing. His radio voice is gold. I mean, he is incredible.
Welcome. Hold on. Can I try to do it?
That's
No,
not it.
not
Not even
at
close. And one time Dave asked John how to get a voice like his in radio, and John said, well, if you've been smoking cigarettes since you were 11 like I have, you could have the same voice. So again, guys, thank you for joining us.
That will do it for today.
We are the Texas Strangers, and we are out of here.
Say goodbye, Brad.
Goodbye, folks.